Woohoo! There we go! Ladies and gentlemen, 2002 Honda S2000, tastefully modified by my friend Alex. AP1 with the AP2 transmission. We got spherical bushings, engine and transmission diff mounts, OS Geiken 1.5-way LSD, JRZ RS Pro coilovers, 16K in the front, 14K in the rear, square setup, Nankang 200 treadwear tires, 255 all around. I am enamored by the S2000, especially in the AP1 form with that 9,000 RPM redline. I did review Eric's S2000 as well, which is very similar to this. A lot of similar components, except his has aero, and that was one of my favorite cars that I drove at all, period, in 2022. It was so good. And the question today is, how does this compare? It's set up a little bit differently because without aero, you're gonna need stiffer suspension, but a lot of the components are similar. As you guys know, if I do ever get rid of my GR86, which I am toying with that idea, S2000 is gonna be my pick. Ooh, these are some tight bride seats. Alex and I are a similar size, but I guess my booty just kind of struggles to fit. Oh God. All right, there we go. Got the seatbelt out. Whew. F***ing doing yoga just to get in. All right. Now the interior is mostly stock, of course, apart from the Recaro and Bride seats. And he chose Bride here because you have more lateral support. This guy is very fast and skilled driver. I've been doing a lot of sim racing with him as well. He's a beast on the sim too. And here we go. You gotta love with the pre-2005s, you got actual cable throttle, no drive-by-wire for that immediate throttle response. Now with the AP1, we do have a faster steering ratio than the AP2. But what you have to keep in mind is that this is an early first-gen EPS. So the feedback, oh, there's that rotation. The feedback isn't quite as dialed in, but he does have the spherical bushings, and now it might be partially, you know, geometry. Maybe he doesn't quite have as much caster as Eric did. Because the steering feedback isn't quite as tight. I remember being shocked in Eric's car. Part of that is also the aftermarket steering wheel, right? This has more cushion padding, whereas Eric's, I forget what kind of steering wheel he had, but it was, you know, harder material. Transmits that info a little bit more directly. As for engine, we have full bolt-ons, but no tune. Not making as much as Eric's S2000. But this car isn't really about the engine, it's about the handling. And the way that Alex has set this up, oh, it handles beautifully. Nice easy heel toe. Because the Honda engineers, they just did this car so right that even 20 plus years later, we're still talking about it and still using it as a benchmark in a lot of ways. The suspension with that 16K front, 14K rear, it's a little bit stiff for this road. This is not the softest, smoothest road. And with the reduced steering feedback, I don't feel quite as comfortable as I did in Eric's car pushing it. In his car, I was just getting that beautiful rotation that you get with a rear-wheel drive vehicle right before you brake into oversteer. I was able to elicit that very consistently. Over here, I've done it on a couple turns, but I can't quite get to that same level, and that comes down to essentially the tuning of the setup. But this is still fantastic. I love this transmission. So with the AP2 transmission, we have shorter gear ratios. I think it's first through fourth, if I'm not mistaken, but then fifth and sixth are the same. But this is the best transmission that I've ever used. I mean, I know people talk about Porsche GT cars having nice transmissions. I still think this is better than the 997 GT3 and GT2 that I drove. This transmission is just so good. Bolt action rifle, super tight, great inputs. Such a joy to use. We are on stock pads, so the braking performance also isn't as sharp and as confidence inspiring, but that's an easy fix. And when Alex chooses to go track this vehicle again, he's gonna put on the right compound, of course. Woohoo! There we go! Now, stock for stock, I appreciate the AP1 being more razor edge, but of course, if you're gonna tune it, it doesn't matter as much. If you're gonna change suspension setup, if you're gonna swap in, I mean, I guess Alex actually has what I prefer, which is that AP1 with the AP2 transmission swap. We still have the AP1 steering rack, which is faster than the AP2. Let's give this a little pull. Oh, 9,000 RPM redline, baby. 9,000 RPM redline. Alex has a dream setup. His other vehicle is a blue Cayman S, the 981 generation. But he tells me that this car is way more fun. And I would have to agree. That's his daily, and this is his fun. Track toy, weekend canyon carver. The more S2000s I drive, the more I understand why Fenton's son from the Zygreen YouTube channel, aka Mr. S2000, is so enamored with these vehicles and has driven probably close to 100 different S2000 examples by now. It's just such a great platform. You're starting off at a very strong foundation level, and I've compared the AP1, AP2 in stock configuration up in this video over here. But then if you want to tune it and modify it, oh my god, the possibilities are endless. And you know, Eric's S2000 is probably my gold standard, my all-time favorite setup. This is also really well done. But the question is, in modern day, you're spending what, 25 to 30K for a decent example S2000, and is it worth it? I mean, there's a lot of great cars at that price point, but people keep coming back to this because it's from an era when you still could get a car that was raw, it was special, 9K redline, one of the best, if not the best, manual transmissions in the game. And I don't know, guys, I might, every time I get behind the wheel of one of these, I keep thinking to myself, I gotta get one, I gotta get one. What do you guys think? Should I get rid of the GR86 and get an S2000 instead? Let me know with the comment down below. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in the next one.